name is Josiah Bartlett. I was born November 21st, 1721. I was famous for signing the Declaration of Independence. I was the first doctor to treat malaria. I got a master's degree in college. I lived in Kingston, New Hampshire. I was inspired by William Henry. Sadly, I died in 1795.
My name is Earl Tupper. I was born in 1901 in Berlin, New Hampshire. My father, Ennis Leslie Tupper, managed the family farm, while my mother, Lulu Clark Tupper, ran boarding home to raise some extra income. It is from my father who frequently came up with labor-saving devices for the farm. And I'm said to have developed a love for invention and developing new things. By the age of 10, I learned that selling the family present was more than lucrative. So I worked in the family farm for a few years. When I was older, I invented Tupperware, and I died when I had 74 years old.
My name is John Stark. I was born on August 28, 1728. I became an army leader in 1777. I died in private life at 1822 at age 94. When I was alive, I had a lot of obstacles in my life, such as fighting for my state and overcoming my fears of fighting. I led 1,500 soldiers to victory in war. Later on, I defeated the British troops, and that is how I came up with the saying, live free or die, and it's now New Hampshire's state motto. What does that mean? To live free until you are forced not to. I am most known for being New Hampshire's best revolutionary hero, but some didn't like the way I did my job. People wanted to kill me before, but a lot of people had hope and faith and helped me get through it. I moved to Portsmouth, New Hampshire because I was getting annoyed and hurt in my hometown, so it was hard to do my job. People thought I was just doing my job for money, but I only wanted to protect my state, so that is what it means. Some lived free and some died.
Hi, my name is Dean Kamen. I was born on April 5th, 1951, and I am an inventor and an engineer. In 1998, I was a new parent of what it looks like, a dorm room refrigerator with a water dispenser. In 1998, I founded First for inspiration and recognition of science and technology. I even built the Segway and the wheelchair. I built the Segway in 2001. The Segway helped people if they had a hard time walking, and the wheelchair did the same thing that the Segway did because they both helped people.
Hello, my name is Alex Shepard. I was born in East Derry, NH. My education was in a primary and secondary school in East Derry. My experience that led me to my career was after graduation from Impopolis. My major achievement was the first man from NH to go to the moon, and it made a big difference to NH. On July 1998, I died.
I am Oni Touch. I was born on February 25th, 1773 in Mount Vermont, Virginia. I never went to school because I was a slave. Being a slave was not fun. I had to work all the time. I was owned by Martha Washington and given to her grandfather Elizabeth Custis as a wedding gift. I escaped slavery because I wanted freedom. This wasn't easy because George Washington wanted me to stay a slave, but I fought against it. I escaped in May of 1796. I went to Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I married Jack Staines, a sailor. I leaned my life as a fugitive. I died February 25th, 1848 in Greenland, New Hampshire.
Hi, my name is Annalie Thorne
Dyke. I was born May 1st, 1915. As a child, I and my mother made doll clothes together as a hobby. My clothing sold through the New Hampshire League of Arts and Crafts. I made my dolls for display, not for toys. I dyed the fabric and hand painted the faces. I created a story to go with each doll. In 1941, I married Charles Chip Thorndike. April 7th, 2002, I sadly died at age 87.
Hi, I am Franklin Pierce. I was born in Hillsborough, New Hampshire, on November 23rd, 1804. I sadly died October 8, 1869. 1824, I graduated from Bowdoin College. 1833, I was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. 1834, I married Jane Appleton. 1837, I became the U.S. Senator. 1846, I entered the U.S. military. 1853 through 1857, I served as the 14th U.S. President. 1869, I died at an age of 64 and attended the Civil War.
Hi, I'm Sarah Joseph Hill. I was born October 24th, 1788 in Newport, New Hampshire. I grew up in Newport, New Hampshire. I was a very thoughtful person, but I cared about kids, schools, and playgrounds. My careers are raising 5 kids and writing articles. I even wrote a very famous poem called Mary Had a Little Lamb. I love Thanksgiving, but when I was alive, it wasn't a national holiday. I wrote thousands of letters to New Hampshire State House to make it a national holiday. I even wrote to 3 presidents and they won't make it a national holiday. But then I wrote to President Lincoln and he said yes. Now Thanksgiving is a national holiday. I sadly died April 30th, 1879.
I'm Lydia Cole. I might have been born in England around 1607. I did witchcraft or evil. I was hated and feared. I was charged with the crime of witchcraft. It was convinced in Hampton, 1656. It was believed that I made a pact with the devil. I have a husband named Henry. Sadly, I was not respected nor loved by my neighbors. If any of my slaves ate any of my grass, I wished I was poison them or choke them. No one liked me. I was put to my rightful place as a citizen in Hampton on March 8th, 1938. Papers that convinced me of witchcraft were burned to ashes and were placed in a urn that was buried for many years. Because I put spells on people. The urn was later given to the Tuck Museum. People in Hampton reported seeing a ghost walking between the streets of the years of 1939 and 1963.
I am Grandy. I'm a very strong person. The difference I made was walking around the United States and Washington, D.C. That is 3,200 miles. At age 94, I ran around Washington, D.C. with signs. I also gave a speech about how and why I walked around the United States and Washington, D.C. The reason why is because I wanted everybody's voice to be heard. I married Jim Hedda. I went to Boston, Massachusetts for college. I had 5 children. I also lived until 100 years old.
I am Robert Frost. I was born on March 26, 1874 in San Francisco, California. I moved to Derry, New Hampshire after my father died. My education was Lawrence High School, Dartmouth College, and Harvard University. My experience that led me to poetry I wrote poetry in high school. My inspiration was I wanted to make poems people would love. Some of my famous poems were The Road Not Taken, Stopping in the Woods on a snowy evening, Mending Wall on Fire and Ice, and more. My major achievement was making famous poems. Some of my obstacles were making poems when I had an idea for the beginning but none for the end. I made a difference to New Hampshire by making poems. I died January 29, 1963 in Boston, Massachusetts.
Hi, my name is Augusto Cinco Dens. I was born in August 3rd, March 1st. I was born in Dublin, Ireland. In 1900, I moved to my summer house in Cornish, New Hampshire. A copper statue of Diana Several Brown's Mountains of President Abraham Lincoln. I moved with my family to New York before I was 1. Sadly, I died August 3rd in 1907.
Hi, my name is Berhans Blake Perry. I was born March 2nd, 1905. I was born in Manchester, New Hampshire. My mom died when I was young. I helped raise my 2 sisters. My family owned Blake's Restaurants and Ice Cream. I worked there. I took flight lessons in 1929. I received my pilot's license. I flew solo for the first time. The New Hampshire State Police hired me to take photos of accident scenes. I also was a photographer for the McDowell Colony. I took pictures of many famous artists. I died in 1996. I am famous for taking photos of accident scenes.
I was a children's book author. When I was a kid, my parents encouraged me to be artistic and have detail in my drawings and stories. So that's what inspired me to be an author and illustrator for children's books. When I was a kid, I was kind of naughty. I would draw on the walls and listen to conversations under the dinner table. At night, after my mother kissed me goodnight and tucked me in bed, I would pull out a secret piece of chalk and start drawing. I was well known to be in New Hampshire because I was an author and illustrator for children's books, and they liked them a lot. I won an award for my book, Little Red Riding Hood. It was the Kettlecott Medal for the book I illustrated prior to child.
Hi, I am Lucy Hope Coford. I was born in 1793. I was born in Gold Hall. I lived in Vermont. I got a master's degree in school. My experience was Ethan climbing Mount Washington. I was inspired because mountain climbing was a new sport in 1820. People from other cities came seeking fresh air, so I made a resort. My major achievement was being the first pioneer and innkeeper in New Hampshire. My obstacles I had to overcome were my house on fire and a flood. I am also known for having a farm with tame deer, bears, and other animals from the White Mountains. I wanted guests to see wildlife from the White Mountains. I made a difference to New Hampshire by being the first pioneer and innkeeper in New Hampshire. I have a nursing baby and 2 other little ones. My grandparents, Alexa and Hannah Rosebrook, had been among the very first settlers in what is now Colebrook, New Hampshire. In 1816, Alexa had cancer. Hannah asked me to come be his nurse. Their grandson, Ethan Crawford, came to manage their New Hampshire farm. When Alexa died, I married Ethan and we stayed with Hannah. The day my first child was born, the house caught fire. I stuffed all my important papers in a bag. My baby survived, but there was no way to save the pig in the back. Lucy Hope Crawford is well known to New Hampshire because I was the first pioneer and innkeeper in New Hampshire. I sadly died in 1869.
Hi, I am Margaret E. Knight. I was born on February 14, 1838. I was born in York, Maine, and I lived in Springfield, York, Maine, and Framingham, Massachusetts. In school, I did more work. Some things I did was make paper bags. I was inspired to make a machine that makes paper bags. I was well known for making paper bags. I had to overcome making a machine that makes paper bags and making the paper bags. I sadly died October 12, 1914 in Framingham, Massachusetts. I am well known to New Hampshire because I make paper bags for New Hampshire so we can put food in the paper bags. Margaret E. Knight, researched by Hannah Carter.
My name is Kristen McGuffley. I was born in Boston, Massachusetts. I lived in Boston, Massachusetts, then I moved to Framingham and learned how to play sports, be a teacher, and learn about space. I dreamed about going into space when I was little. I was a general person. On July 19, 1985, the NASA announced that Vice President George Bush named me one of the cylinders to fly into space. The spaceship was called the Challenger. My awards are the Congressional Space Medal. I lived to 37. I died January 28, 1986. I was buried in Concord. I died in an explosion After the explosion, teachers gathered in the gym, sang songs, read poetry, and talked about me.
Hi, I'm David Shute. I was born on September 17th, 1939 in Melrose, Massachusetts. I attended Harvard University and I graduated in 1961. My mother was a store clerk. I worked at the Supreme Court from 1990 to 2009. I was sent to the Supreme Court by George Bush in 1990. My parents' names are Helen and Joseph. I live in Concord and I'm 78 years old.
My name is Daniel Christopher. I was born in April 20, 1850 in Exeter, New Hampshire. I have lived in Cambridge, Concord, and Stockbridge, Massachusetts. I made the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. I died October 7, 1931 on my farm in Stockbridge, Massachusetts.